Tempra, not been a great start, fair to say. Vitality, a much better start, but there's still a lot of room to go for them.
There's definitely a lot of room here, and there's a lot more at stake that might, you might first see, because Vitality currently find themselves in 7th place in the overall standings on 13 points. Tempra currently on 11th, only Empire is splitting them. A win here could be meaning huge moves for Vitality, whilst on the other hand, could be elevating Tempra out of a danger zone.
Now, as we go into Villa, I don't know why you guys are complaining about Oregon. I've only seen it twice so far in the entire time I've been with the UL, so it's only 50% of the maps. Villa, though, it's an enjoyable one. And I saw this as an argument on Twitter. I'm not going to cite who I saw being intelligent about this, because I can't remember who it was. But they did point to the fact that obviously in a best of one situation, you have to look at these maps where historically, if a team gets like 6 rounds on their defense or 5 rounds on their defense, that's Villa. And there are some teams that just, if they're starting on their attacks, they just don't want to play that game, which is why a map like Oregon keeps getting through, or at least a potential reason to. You're not looking at these heavily shifted one way or another maps.
That's actually a good take on it. I totally agree on that. Considering, of course, it's still a mental thing. There's still 2 sides to a game of Siege, but if you're 6-0 behind, that means no more slip-ups from that point on forward. It's not really the chill vibe you would like to go into your second half with. So yeah, no, I get that. But it's good to see some variety nonetheless, and that means Villa will be coming out now. Tempra starting out onto the attack. And I feel with Tempra, like any game that was really memorable for them was either on Villa or was on Coastline. So let's see if we can see some of that old CL glory coming up.
Well, dining room and kitchen is actually where they're going to start their play. It's a site that you often see it as the third play for a lot of these teams. You bring it in the situation where you've kind of gone through the rest of the top floor. Okay, I guess we've seen it have some prevalence in the French scene before. It's actually quite a comfortable site for a lot of teams nowadays. And I guess with the adaptations of how the meta has shifted with the recent additions of obviously Melusi, but at the same time, the changes towards things like the hard destruction, maybe it is something that's going to grow in ferocity as the gameplay hopefully does too. Either way, it is where the firefight is deciding to start, and I'm curious to see how much of it becomes a top-heavy hold.
That's always the question for this site. How many of these members will be playing upstairs, and how many vertical holes will we see, well, be created by these shotguns that, for example, Goga carries in the Bailiff, or that Hungry will be able to get in the M59? Because you want to stop them, but you don't want to give them too much ground if you lose the top floor control. So it's that 50-50 kind of deal. You don't want to open up everything, you do want to have some openings. The question is what and where's your priority?
Yeah, it's how you set yourself up for the main game and how you start to bring yourself in when push comes to shove. And talking of Tempra, they've been shoved around a lot this season, as said by the analyst desks, and this could be a good map for them to be able to pull themselves back in, because you're not just looking at another team that hasn't had the best time. You're looking at a team of Contrafic. You're looking at a team that you should have butted heads or done your research on, because it comes, okay, not everybody, but the core play, that feel, that vibe, it is very French and very, has that je ne sais quoi that they might be able to bring to Villa.
Do you have an idea of what you just said or not?
No. Saw it on a car advert with Thierry Henry. Now the pressure starts to come across the small box room as they try to find anybody that gets a little bit too aggressive on the kitchen door. There is always the worry of the rotation, but we can see that there is a body doubled up currently and droning its way around those wine stairs. It's actually on the opposite side. The firefight starts as Fabian takes care of P4 all the way on the top floor. And okay, there's the corpse. There's the verticality.
Right, little hole with that deagle. Just waiting for the sledge to be walking in, and that is your entry right there with, well, 1 minute and 30 seconds left on the clock now, and that leaves Tempra with a man disadvantage. And then you're looking at where they're currently locating themselves, and basically no one is on the top floor, so no top floor control seeming to be established by the likes of Tempra. It's Shinka, however, to go for a little bit of a respawn to take down Rise, but Kioxis instantly gets traded out by Bibu. And it's still these two players that, well, Durza tries to take care of now with a beautiful wallbang onto Bibu, who turns it back into a 3-on-3 situation. There was 60 seconds left. He gets swung on by Goga with that Alda. And right now, Tempra are trying to recover.
Well, Shinka has the diffuser, and they're trying to creep up the staircase they cleared once a long time ago, but have never found the solidity since then. Drones, again, they have time. They have the ability to play around this, but it plays to Villa. It plays to the strength of the defenders, holding angles, sitting inside what is a very strong map, and just making sure that they can keep themselves locked in and locked off. They're pinching and pincering either side of a Maestro, but Goga's having none of that, and even less as he just swings onto the next.
This is the strength of the Aldo, I'm afraid. Just hold that left mouse button. You're going to be able to continue firing. And that is the first round won by Vitality after what I think is a lack of top floor, well, engagement to come through on the likes of Tempra. Everybody, like, you know, try to go in horizontally. Just push through the doors. That moment there's only 1 or 2 choke points. You are going to try and get yourself through. But didn't really seem to be working out now, did it?
No, and that is always the worry, especially when, as we said, that is a site that is often seen as a team's third site. You can play it first to kind of show off the audience, so show a bit of aggression, should I say, against what is expected from the people that are approaching you and encroaching on your space. But in the same breath, it could just be one that, as I've said, the French scene has often had a bit of a good play around on that first floor, on that kind of ground floor there. Either way, that's an opening Vitality are obviously going to dig into, because they didn't really have to overstretch to get it. There was a lot of swinging onto the Maestro. Goga did what Goga does and just kept everything locked down and locked off, and, well, it was a lot of just batting back anyone the Tempra that got close.
They managed to get, like, you know, that beautiful wall bang there, but it didn't last long. The crossfires were there. Like, at the moment you're trying to push through, you know, just the pantry there, every single gun is going to be aimed towards that direction, and it's not going to be working out for you, especially with an Alda on the other side of the room. But first round's done. Vitality won that one. Of course, it's a defensive side that was just won. We expect like a 4-2 split for the defense every now and then, meaning there is still time. There is still 5 more rounds for Tempra to try and get at least 2 to 3 rounds. But I think we need to see a little bit more depth in their attacks if that's the case.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when you're kind of looking at the face of this developing, when you're looking at this stage that is being set by Villa compared to some of the other maps we've seen, it is a big, slow, heavy map. It's one where you're generally seen as being able to take more of your defenses. As I said, a 5-1 split isn't the most uncommon. 4-2 means the attack's actually sometimes putting in quite a good shift, especially if they're decisive too. Anything underneath that in terms of the split going the attacker's favored, well, that's a very good half for them. The 6-0, though, as a potential, that's a bit of a worrying statistic, because it's the mental game of, okay, sure, maybe you dropped the ball in a couple of rounds, which you otherwise could have taken. It's not that far away from expected, but you're still, every round is the meticulous one. Every round is the one where it's got to be the most important round that you've played in the day, which is a tough mental game to keep yourself locked in on.
And even since there's no overtime, so in that moment in time, you're only fighting for a draw after you're 0-6 behind, and that is making it even, well, maybe even harder to look up to. Unless it's like, you know, end of the season, you only need 1 point to qualify for the major, then everything will be given in those rounds. But if it is just a normal play day, you know, play day number 3 right now, I don't think people are just like, oh, come on, we'll give it our best, but it's not going to be like the 200% that you would otherwise get.
Yeah, and I think that's always the concern in it. It's the worry of, if you're going to a map like this, leading with your attacks, if things aren't going well when it's tough to make them go well, it's just, there's a lot of things that kind of pull you together and pull you into this troubling situation, I think it's fair to say.
You know what I just heard?
What?
I think we're going back into game.
Oh, that's good. We're there.
It is time. We are there. It is Aviator Games that is coming out, round number 2. And we are seeing the Goya, we are seeing the Melusi. No Valkyrie, as that is being picked into a Wamai. Together with the Jaeger, that might be proving a bit of a difficulty here for Tempra, considering the amount of projectiles that we'll have to use to get rid of the Banshees and the shields.
Well, with the first round, if you somehow missed it, going into the favor of Vitality, which was a pretty solid lockdown downstairs, they're going to head up to AVG and see if they can replicate what was a very successful start to the day for them. Tempra, let's shake off that first round. Let's get yourself back in a fresh mental game and see what else you can apply to the strategy table, or, well, hopefully getting the diffuser down around it inside the site itself.
All right. Vitality setting up for the defense. Want to see where those shields go. Oh, Fabian.
10 seconds left.
This was a bit I think you can walk past that, right? Yeah, okay. I don't think you can vault the other way, because sometimes it just collapses under the pressure if you do that. Oh, that way's fine.
Attackers objective is
Gonna have one, of course, on landing. One on the top of the main stairs, just to aid any player playing there.
I'm glad you're just pulling them apart.
What?
I'm glad you're just pulling the individual apart. You're like, oh, you're like someone that's walked into Surveyor building, like, oh, that's a load-bearing one there.
Yeah, well, you know, sometimes I need to stretch it a bit. Get them one by one, you know?
Yeah.
Oh. But yeah, no, like the top one is of course to aid the player that will be playing main stairs. Will probably be followed up with 1 or 2 ADSs. Maybe the Wamai playing there himself, just to get those discs in.
Wow, they're getting hyper-aggressive here on the opposite side. You can see the rotations coming towards the 90 window, and Goga just gets past it. Chaoxis maybe doesn't know how close they were to putting a bullet in the side of Wamai, but, well, there's Durza putting one directly between the eyes as Goga swings on. They're pushing deep into sight. They've seen that there is a long stretch out towards the master bedroom, and they're going to push the pressure towards the site whilst it is still unguarded. They've got to try and dig their way back through, and it's not going to be through those players, especially P4, who puts himself on a double shinker in a post plant and hungry with no health left and very little hold. Takes an air jab and takes a flawless from Tempra.
Very good attack coming down here. Well spotted that there was a very well, wide hold, as you say, all the way up to the trophy. Meaning there's little people on sides, and if you manage to be quick enough, you're going to be able to outrun them, overrun them, and get that diffuser down, put the pressure on them. But before that even happened, there was only 1 man left standing. Back in the vault, locked himself up, and managed to win that round. Tempra.
1-1. And, well, that was 2 different stories, and I think that was a great adaptation towards, as you said, reading that things were empty. They saw the confident stretch that seemed to go all the way across the top floor as Vitality kind of set themselves up for. Maybe they expected a slower and steadier Tempera, but that is definitely not what greeted them. That was a very quick read, a great push and breakthrough study, and, well, then full control of the site came just after. Not going to try and double it down, though. They're going to head over to Trophy Statuary, keep the sites fresh, keep themselves rotating, and, well, potentially keep themselves a little bit closer to site this time.
Gonna have to turtle up a little bit, Vitality. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to, well, survive another round, because we just saw how effective and how quick Tempra can be if you give them a bit too much space. Let them struggle, let them puzzle. That is the key to success, it seems. Because as soon as you give them, well, complete visibility to the site, they'll just be taking it with both hands. With all 10 hands, rather. And keep it under control.
Well, with a stretch underneath there, as we can see, not throwing themselves as deep. Though Hungry and Bibu both on the opposite side. You do often have somebody playing control on this side, and you do often have, you know, reinforcements and AVG, and the ability to kind of slow and stem the push across this top floor. Stop getting the angles with landing and by time and hopefully a body or 2 for your trouble. But look at this, Tempera not wasting any time, does it? It's just face checking the room as a couple of drones are trying to actually keep up with the pace of the act. Let alone the act keep up with them. Well, they've got the bathroom, they've got bedroom, and they've got a body on the window of Astro with nobody else home battling back against it. You do wonder if Vitality are going to rotate themselves a little bit more consequentially underneath or potentially around to Astro stairs. Either way, it's going to start with the Goyo being popped on the door. And, well, Rise looking at the potential of anyone coming nearby. So far, no bites.
Looking at Durza. It's hoping to be entering. No one seems to be inside of Astro, and soon this drone will confirm that exact fact. However, there is these little angles the holes. A flashbang there made sure that Fabian wasn't able to spot that drone as he's worried about the window, potentially someone peeking up there right now. Nice charge going off, the barbed wire will be hit. It seems like an Astra push is coming in. As that C4 of Rise only did about 5 damage to P4. That is not really the impact they were looking for either themselves, and that means Tempra right now have control. And as Fabian gets taken into the DBNO state, it's Rise that comes back up from the Astro stairs, takes down one onto Doza, but now needs to find more. The question is he aware of the fact that someone is on that? Oh, that's a beautiful hit fire kill to come through there, as Rise takes down P4 yet again. And still someone on that window that needs to be dealt with.
And otherwise, no real pressure coming towards them, but Voy drifts past and takes the head off the other man on the inside statue. And now, it is all just the one rotation. Gets the planter just as they tried to stick, but with 50 seconds, well, it's not as consequential as it otherwise could have been, but it is an important take. It puts the diffuser cold, it gives them an idea where it is, and it forces the two Tempra players to have to push either side. They're in a good pinch situation. They've already kind of set themselves up to double up and go for the trade. They need the intel, the beat, and the read on where the last man is, but he's moving, manipulating, and unfortunately caught by Chaoxis.
And there we have it, Tempra win yet another round, and I believe you just said a 4-2 split would be beneficial to the attack. And anyone coming from here on forward is going to be, well, free real estate almost. That is going to be rounds that you can basically throw away when you're on the defense, considering you have that buffer. Of course, Tempra not looking to throw away rounds, but they're definitely looking here to make this split their favored. A 3-3, maybe even a 4-2, considering the way they're going right now. Both will be super well for them.
I was going to say, Tempra fans pretty happy so far with how this has started. Obviously, you're looking at your attack on Villa, and you've been able to take the two sites that are otherwise usually quite tricky. Dining room and kitchen, where things started and, well, didn't really start. I think it's fair to say for Tempra, they could potentially cook up something a little bit more tasty this time round. Now they have a buffer of 2 rounds underneath their belt and something they can swing their way into. Some slightly better ingredients, an idea of actually how to put them in a pot to make themselves get another round win. Either way, Vitality, they've unfortunately been left to simmer a little bit too long and can't quite find the same recipes for disaster they've been able to pull together in a part against other teams previously. And you do wonder if it's a little bit too much of a stretch for how they're playing. We almost saw them strike back previously. They did go for a great rotation via landing, and they're able to obviously get the diffuser carrier. But without any real pressure on Astro, without any kind of hold there, it's just giving ground for Tempra to push and clear what is such a big map because, well, they're reading the weaknesses. They're reading where the gaps are and just saying, well, this is ours now.
As I said, give them a space and they'll take it with all 10 hands they have. It's Fabian here on a big roam. Hoping to find someone. Quick C4 being tossed in, but I won't be finding anybody yet. Of course, probably has some information, a drone. Maybe we'll be playing himself up there, and as soon as that pressure comes in, he will be detonating it. Voy has a drone on him though, so they're aware of him playing there. But that might be exactly what he wants.
Does a rotation drop down and look like they wanted to put pressure onto Art, and Fabian's like, nah, I'm gonna head past Montrum and find myself back towards the site because, well, I think it's the smarter play at this. Keep them guessing, play with the space, move, manipulate, and re-find landing. But there's another drone just tucked into the corner there. If that was being watched, they might have an idea. Apparently not a good enough one, though, as Fabian, for the second time in a row, finds the first fall here on the kitchen hold.
I was going to say, surely he saw them go up there as Bibu comes around on the flank onto Durza right now. Is Durza aware? No, he doesn't. He's not aware. Bibu, however, will not be able to land the kill as he whiffs the shot. Durza able to get that one. Going for his team. Brings it back to at 4-on-4 with Fabian still removed from the site, meaning only 3 players there they need to take care of as long as Fabian is not allowed to re-enter. Surely a flank drone will be set up now. Surely we'll try and lock him out of the play as they continue in these last 70 seconds. Drone right there spotted out. Fabian taking care of it. Will be called out probably by Voy. So they have an idea of where Fabian is going to be coming from, but they're not going to be 100% pinpoint accurate.
Well, last time they tried to push their way in by a brute force against Goga, and, well, Goga refused entry. This time they're going to see if they can get some more pressure from the vertical before they start to try and dig in on the man on the corner. The frustration of hitting a sledgehammer against the solid wall leads nowhere, unfortunately, as they go for a rotate and still cannot quite find the body. 40 seconds, and Hibana pellets are popping off on the hard walls on the opposite side, but Durs are still concerned about the rotation from Fabian, buzzing with all the aggression of the B skin he is wielding. Hey, Vitality, nice Pro League skin. And, well, can it actually lead you to a little bit more success here in your second round with Fabian getting the aforementioned first kill? Chaoxis finds the first on the site, and it was the man of the moment last time they were here. That's going to buy them a lot of possibility, but unfortunately it's not going to buy them the round as they can't quite lock down the vertical either way. There's an air jab that gets shot out, but you don't have many bullets in your gun, so you better make sure you hit them or reload. That's probably a smarter option. Spraying and praying over the top. Flashes come through, and so do the body, but so does Fabian too, and there the skin leads to success, it would seem.
Didn't have an opportunity to go for the plan there. There was too little time for them to sit down and, well, basically put themselves to it. They did not have the picks that were needed to actually go for the side pick. You still had the sledge from above, but he was unable to remove Rise either. And due to that, 2-2 is the current score. Tempra, however, still find themselves at basically the preferred round count for the attack, and anything from here on forward is considered a bonus. So Tempra will be in this the remainder of this half relatively easy. Not caring too much, as in worrying too much about what is to come. Whereas Vitality, they know that they cannot afford more rounds to be lost.
Now, the last time we were here, it was a surgically quick strike that led to Tempra taking this round. They read that Vitality were a little bit off the piste, and, well, they responded so quickly and so aggressively that by the time Vitality were able to actually get their way back into sight to realize what was happening, they had to push through their own chokeholds that had otherwise not even really been touched by Tempra, leading to, I believe, a flawless. Either way, it was a very well-read attack by Tempra, and I'm curious to see if Vitality are going to try and double down on a strategy, whether it was something where, okay, one thing went wrong and it unfortunately led to other problems, or if they dig themselves closer to home. It seems like Fabian is going to be playing on the top of the stairs with a double up here from Goga, so this already seems like a lot more solid, but at the same time we can see bodies already heading over to the bedroom side and bullets being peppered through every which way and window.
Definitely so. There's Voy just holding an angle here in Astro. Rise is playing there. P4 will be taking care of Bibu. Is the first one of the Vitality members removed as Rise goes quite low as well, trying to rotate out. It's going to be back into about 20 HP. C4 Fabian will be finding a kill onto Chaoxis, but P4 gets the kill onto Rise. Beautiful hat shot. Even sure if it was wallbang. No, it was not actually. Just walked in from Statuary. And that leaves us with 2 minutes and 3 Vitality members left, going up against the 4 of Tempra. And one of them is playing around the 90 area. The other 2 are directly in the site. Now, if I'm looking at this, I'm thinking there's plenty of time for Tempra to win this round compared to what we had last time around.
Yeah, I mean, they're in a man advantage situation. They have a minute 40 to start to actually collapse down onto the site. Sure, the big potential problem is the Fabian C4 kill from underneath. That might bring some woe into the foe, because at that point you're wondering whether he's still playing as aggro as he was before, which has been a pretty continually good move by Fabian. Otherwise, the other range play and ranged play hasn't really hit the mark as consistently as Vitality likes, and I think the kind of one to look towards there is the entrances versus Bibu, who otherwise really hasn't been able to hit the mark as we usually see him do.
And that is quite worrying for the likes of Vitality. Missing out on one of your star players like that is not something you can use in this French derby, which is pretty deciding for the likes of the relegations later on, because these two teams are competing with one another potentially for that 9th place spots later on in the season. So if this win goes to Tempra now, and it would be going there quite convincingly, Vitality might find themselves in a bit of a pickle as soon as we go over to the tie-breaking rules and the mini-leagues, etc. So this match is about more than just getting the points It is about having the advantage over your opponent as well, in case that both of you will be around that relegation area.
Well, with 20 seconds on and the diffuser now cold, they've got to get aggro. This is the problem when you try a big split push like this, is forcing a big rotation from Durza into a situation where someone's already died. They know there's a body in Vault, but Durza is able to get through. There's the C4, shot out and covered from the door. A very important moment. The spray comes through, but it doesn't quite land. You run out of bullets and everybody's on the ground in a 1 versus 1. Vitality. I think it's fair to say that was a little bit sketchy from both teams.
It was a bit off. Let's just put it like that. I definitely thought that the defuse would go through, but the cover wasn't there. Thought it was there, but it just missed the shots, and because of that, able to get the down onto the diffuser planter. And because of that, eventually time ran out, of course, because the last 1v1 was not settled. And that means Vitality retakes the lead right now, 2-3. And we're going to the last defensive side, the last defensive round that they will play today. It's the trophy stat tree once again. And my question is here, Fluke, will they be playing more in Astronomy, or are they going to be giving it away for free again?
I guess that's it, and it's one of the questions that I've had about this Vitality throughout this entire playday, is they've been leaving space, and they've been trying to play it as a little bit of a journeyman's approach, where they're manipulating, they're moving. I think, again, the impact kills that Fabian's had, you've got to look at it from two sides. There's the replay of the C4 cover is great, but obviously you look at that reload symbol in the middle, you look at the 6 bullets, you look at the possibility of hitting him there, and it's unfortunate. A couple more bullets in clip, enough to stop the man getting the diffuser planter. That's what I mean by sketchy. There were a little bits that unfortunately led to a series of errors and events. But, as I was saying before, the impact of Fabian's kills. He's been able to take players out of the attack that has stumbled Tempra. Now, Tempra at its best so far is, here is an opportunity, we have taken it. They don't think too hard on it. They don't worry themselves too much about it. They just push and take, and it's brilliant. But then one thing goes wrong, as we're seeing with the C4 from underneath, as we're seeing from Fabian doing the big rotations, and everything slows down again for them, and the time starts to become a bit of an issue. Whereas the 2 rounds they did, I mean, it was well within the first minute 30 that they were able to just push and collapse and take.
That is indeed the worry here for Vitality. They're going to make sure that that doesn't happen again, whilst Tempra might find themselves in... well, it went so well, but then they just started out losing these closing duels, really. Or not having enough time. They need to sort this now. They need to sort it right now, because this is the last round they'll have on the attack. And if they manage to take this one home, they'll find themselves on a 3-3 split. They will be favored to win the map from that point on forward. If they don't, it's going to be 50-50, because Vitality will be able to get those 3 defensive rounds locked in, meaning that they have the opportunity to be reaching the 6 mark first. And after that, you put so much pressure onto your opponent, as they're only going to be fighting for survival at that point, not for overtime, not for the win. And the 3 points come closer with every single step you make.
Well, even now, if we look at the comparisons, they've been able to get into the start of the pressure they were able to make before, but it's hit a slow. It's hit a stop, and unfortunately that C4's hit nobody as Rise pops open a bit of ground. It's still going to make them a little bit uncomfortable as they pass and trespass through, but you can see the drone of Durza working around it. They know where they need to be, and, well, they've managed to get themselves there. A minute now ticks over, and this is a slowed Tempra, and as we've seen before, a slowed Tempra can sometimes be an oh no Tempra. They've got to see if they can try and get this entry and go from there, as by the looks of it, another drone is dropped, and there's no one to instantly try and apply this.
How badly would you want to have a Nitro on the attack now, as Rise will be able to pick up one. He's going to be able to shut down the, attempt at first clear, but right now, Tempra just turns on. They're going to be taking out Fabian, Goga, and Bibu, and it's only up to Hungry now as the plant goes down. The cover is yet again not there. Shingo will go down as well. That means the diffuser is dropped cold, and in these last 30 seconds, it's all up to Hungry now. Running that Vitality skin as well. As you said, it would lead to success. Let's see if it leads to success again. And that is not the case. Chaosis is going to be able to pick up that last kill. Tempra is here to go for that 3-3. The even split is here. And who will be doing better in the defense now? That is what we will see answered in these next 6 rounds.
Well, I said a slow Tempra leads to an oh no Tempra, and that was oh yeah Tempra as they bust through the walls like the Kool-Aid man and find themselves through all of the delicious defense that was otherwise put before them. It was so quick. It was smash through and take. And as I said, that is seemingly full confidence Tempra. Yes, they lost one in the meantime on Rise, but they had an idea of how to pick it up afterwards. They seemed to instantly reflect and retaliate, and well, they weren't quite able to make that happen the previous times when they would otherwise lose something on their way in. Can it translate to something on their defenses, or is the time going to play in a manner more befitting of Vitality, who have otherwise been able to put pressure on the late round clock better?
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
All right. First half, second half, first round. Coming in for Tempra on the defense, first round for Vitality on the attack.
That's how maps
What are they
work.
going to do? What are they going to do? They're going Aviator Games. Now, are we going to see a main stairs hold, Bleak, or are we going to see something completely different? Often you see a shield down there with, my discs, or even a Clash that plays there, backed up with some ADSs. Because they have that Clash on P4,
To insertion.
where will they use it?
I think that's it as well, is you see Clash sometimes on the study door. You see her sometimes on 90 and with the ability to kind of pull back down long and pull back, via this kind of corner. And I've seen her dug in there with ADS just before, and it just becomes not impossible to get rid of, but a big problem. It seems like they're keeping P4 a little bit mobile right now, as they're not, making their way downtown, walking average pace, as they try and find their way actually all the way to stairs to double up with Chaoxis.
Exactly what I thought. Play that Clash around this area. Have that shield above as well to try and contest the study. And right now you don't really have to worry about the main stairs, because as soon as someone does, there is that shield you now need to worry about. If I'm looking at the setup of the attackers, we have the Zofia, of course, that is going to be available to try and stun. But you need to back it up. You need to back it up with a second gun to try and instantly fire on those legs who get exposed at that moment in time. As long as Chaos is around and that ADS is located on the position where it is going to be really hard to try and get that stun in.
Well, there's Clash making her presence known as the drone couldn't quite get there. The flashes swing round the corner, and with Fabian and Bibu both looking for aggression here, well, they're going to throw as much utility as possible above too. They're putting pressure onto Study at the same time. It's a two-story push, and they want to try and isolate these bodies on the staircase, but without being able to make anything work here, and with Clash just causing problems dug in on the corner, Vitality can't quite find the way through. They're concerned about a rotation by Zulu too, but there is finally the presence, and there is a quick double kill. They're able to drop Rise in the meantime, but Chaoxis and P4 fall, and a minute 20 is all to play for.
Very good move there. Good use of the stun on Zofia, instantly followed up by, of course, the double kill. Taking down Chaoxis as well, who was there to support. Probably didn't expect 3 people to be peeking out at once. But very coordinated push so far from Vitality. Let's just look at how Tempra will be catching this one. If they're going to be able to catch this one. Shinka is still on the roam. Dur's on the B-bomb side. Foy on the A-bomb side, meaning there's presence everywhere. There's flank opportunity as well. If he doesn't get hunted down, that is.
Well, here comes the hard destruction. Rise using those portable stuns from the Zofia to know whether somebody's playing the corner. Was unpopped, so it's ground for them to take, and Durs has been forced back all the way into the gun vault now as they just try and hold the cross angle too. Voi's concerned, but that concern drops down. 2 quick kills fall their way, with Bibu able to find one back. 15 seconds, they've got to dig in, and they're not going to be able to dig very far. Yet again, it's a back and forth, and with Hungry locking off the round for Vitality. Oh no, that's why they had to go round.
Can I place them a little bit better? You know, be a bit more surgical about it, and you would have been able to walk through. No, it's always annoying when that happens. You don't really have time to pixel perfect place those X-Carols that have the biggest opening you can possibly get without those little annoying bars of metal still sticking to each other.
Yeah, so these things happen. The players Well, they were quick to react. Quick to rotate. It put them in a less comfortable situation. Obviously, they wanted to kind of... You could tell the movement that they wanted to make was a much shorter one with a lot more cover, and it allowed them to cover the opposite side of the door, but they couldn't quite happen. And still credit to them for being able to lock out the round. And it all started from the take of the Clash and the Jaeger. So let's see if Voy and Chaoxys can, well, make something a little bit more well put together here as they double down and try it on Trophy Sentry.
What he's most likely going to do now is close up every single door he can find. You might be thinking why. First of all, it gives you plus 5 points per door you close.
And that's
it's good for your MVP stat.
Yeah, in a game where their points are turned off, it's important.
I mean, you still have the end screen matchmaking thing, you know. Like, still gotta keep that one in mind. You wanna.
This is just your rank
teammates
stress, isn't it?
Yeah, close every single door and then destroy it and put a new one down. Like, it keeps them giving you 5 points. But second of all, which is maybe the actual reason why he does it. Now, don't at me on this, but it makes sound when people open it, and you waste time for them to actually open it. But I'm not 100% sold on that idea. Just saying it's an opportunity, you know, Kappa. Just before people roast me, just, you know, a bit of sarcasm in it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone will roast you now. Cat jams in chat, because
no mod. Oh no, wait, we cat, we jam, no mod, no ban. That was it.
We cat, we jam, no mod, no ban. The greatest
That's
addition. R6 Esports has reached cat jam now.
I just know people that do not have better Twitch TV and are like, what?
They must be
what's
so
cat?
Confused.
What is cat jam? Can someone please explain me?
Yeah.
Well, you gotta get better Twitch TV. Anyway.
Trying to get the man out of the walk-in closet there, and, well, they've realized that there's more pressing things, aka the Clash on the landing side. You can see a lot of Vitality outlines and bodies steadily droning and making their way here across the side. This was the start of the push last time. This was the start of the pressure when they dropped the Clash and then went from this point onwards, and it looks like they want to double down. But Clash should not play in that game this time round. There's still a Wamai disc on the top corner that didn't quite catch the first one. Does get that flash, though, that gets burnt out, and, well, they're probably hoping something more costly got caught there, as you still have the pressure coming from Ryze and Bibu. Oh, no, actually, Ryze has rotated off towards Astro Window by the looks of it.
And that is going to be making things a bit more easy for Void. Only having to worry about these flashbangs that are being tossed in. Considering the fact that the Sophia's on the other side of the map, and here another flashbang will be hitting Bibu instead. It's going to be Shink in the meantime that gets the entry kill. On to Fabian. No more foots being scanned. No more real-time pings coming in from that Inox. And that is giving the entry towards Tempra as well.
Well, they're still trying to get closer and closer to this Clash, and she's doing a lot to stem anything that gets, well, even remotely close to her. There's one Tempra player on a very deep roam as well, and I'm wondering if they're going to be able to catch Ryze as they rotate, but in the meantime, Bibu's just going to decide he wants to be in sight, and he's able to get one before he gets taken out by Durza. The player is doing the same thing on their attacks. Does get shut down over the top, with Hungry finding one more, putting us back into a 3-3. Clash is still on the board, which is a big problem, so they're going to try and stick the diffuser down now. P4 wants to rotate onto the back here and see if they can catch the one behind the desk. They do, with the C4 getting the next. It's a 3-1 post-plant. Golga versus the world, but the Clash is maybe the worst part of that. She slows anything you do when you get close. Has to get aggro, does. But the cover is there, and so is the diffuse 4-4.
Attackers need to protect it.
I was thinking surely he's going to get tasted death as Foy managed to go for a couple of zaps in there. But the defuse will come down now, just with the 3 members of Tempra all cuddling around the bum and diffuser, celebrating their victory, celebrating their 4th round to be won. We are now going up to round number 9. And we will see who is reaching that 5 mark first. Of course, it is going to be the round prior to the match point. Often considered a very important one as well, especially now, considering you're so close. It's back and forth. You want to be the first one to reach 6. Let that pressure slide off of you. Put all the pressure onto your opponent, who are looking to fight for a draw in that moment in time.
I think this has been surprisingly neck and neck. And I know, okay, we came into this map citing map stats, as anybody does. You say it's defender-sided, it's yada yada, whatever. But at the same time, the rounds between these two teams, they've either been... Defenders have taken it because it's timed out and they haven't really been able to find anything. Or attackers, they just gun towards the site. They just have this habit of naught to everything, and I'm wondering if it's a familiarity between these two teams, as we cited before, and how they want to approach each other, or if it's just this is the nature of today's playday. This is how these two kind of big teams want to hit head.
10 seconds.
Oh well. 4-4. You see a lot of opening right here from the likes of Tempra, making the living room unsafe, making the dining room unsafe. Just everything to create these long angles, just to make Vitality worry about where they go. There might be someone in there, in living room, for example, just suddenly taking you out as you walk through and try to put some pressure into the B bomb site. And that means you'll have to take them out first. But if you do, there is this long angle that, you know, his teammates can use just to make sure you're not sneaking through. And it's just a lot of worry and a lot of pressure putting up here from the defense.
Well, getting those precious ranked points there and reinforcing the doors, as Hap said you should do, and, well, waiting for the pressure to come down and try and approach. A lot of drone work coming out from Vitality. Again, I think this is one of the things where if you look to the last round when they decided to naught to everything and just push and go full aggro, is it was built around a lot of time droning that clash and droning out the rest of the space and making sure they had a bit of an idea, but with the utility that they burnt and trying to maybe not go for the pinch and the push, but, well, force her back, they didn't quite amount to what they needed to. And here, well, they amounted to everything. Bibu, waiting like a trapdoor spider, strikes and drags the volley off to an untimely end.
Unfortunate here for Tempra, but a good start for Vitality as you're taking out that Jaeger. Was looking to be playing for a bit of a flank, you know, a late cheeky route flank, and as Fabian now takes down Keoxys as well. That is going to be making things like a flying start here for Vitality. Considering there's about 80 seconds left, you have a 2-man advantage. Trades should definitely be happening the entire time right now as soon as you go for the execute, but P4 could be in a dangerous position here. Could be going for a pickup, maybe even 2. So he tries to rotate back to the site and loses his life as a result. That was the wrong choice there, young man. And that means right now, Vitality only need to clear out 2 people on site.
Wow, this has been an exceptional close down from Vitality. As I said before in the previous round, they spent a lot of time and a lot of manpower devoted to that clash and shutting it down. They did it the round before and they were successful. Here, this was exemplary. They knew where they needed to be. They read every beat of the plays, and Durza, well, reads 2 quick ratios there. Takes care of Fabian just after Rise at 2, and now it's all down to 1 player left. Shinka with a big gun unfortunately can't quite make it work, and Vitality, yet again, 1 step ahead.
On the back of Bieber with some big frags here. Opening up the site, cleaning it up as well. Vitality now find themselves at 5 rounds. Of the infamous 6 mark, 2 away of getting those 3 pointers, and with that, elevate yourselves out of direct harm of that relegation zone. Because right now we have Chaos down there with 6 points and Tempra on, I believe, 11, maybe 12. I think it's 11. So Vitality managed to win this. They'll elevate themselves 5 points above the number 9 position, meaning a lot of worry for the rest of this season will be taken off of them.
That's it. It's an important bit of points to kind of lock themselves off, especially as you're looking at Tempra being one of those other teams that you'll be battling with around the lower to the mid-table. This is a new Vitality. They've awoken them a little bit more in this turn of the half, turn of the season, and they're turning up more. And this is so far a bit of a slog of a game, though. You need to start getting these wins because we've seen how an unfortunate amount of draws can get you if you look at the sad story of Chaos so far.
All right. Again, a lot of openings here from Tempra. It's creating a lot of lines of sight. Not the same. Okay, actually, the same ones as last time. I was going to say, not the
5 seconds left.
the Western ones yet, but they are definitely there.
Attackers objective.
And right now,
Locate a bomb.
Tempra is setting themselves up for what hopefully becomes a more successful round than the last, because that one didn't really go well. You lost 2 members early on, then you lost P4, who tried to rotate back after being spotted instead of just going down into the basement and rotating back up from prep, for example. So you got to make sure that that doesn't happen now.
Yeah, it was a clinical shutdown as well. I think the balance of where they were and when they needed to be there was just perfect from Vitality. And it comes from this heavy drone game. And obviously we've seen it 2 successes so far and 1 unfortunate, but, well, maybe they can try and translate it and keep that hot and peppery, because if they can work their game, as I cited at the beginning, you look at the players, you look at Gogi, you look at Fabian, obviously look at, you know, Hungry as well. They have this history of being huge meta-controlling players. They work so well with the operators, the utilities that are offered to them. They are big information players. Now they've been able to grow a bit. Now they've been able to find some more definition in their play. That is where they're going to be at their strongest. And, you know, some of these rounds, some of these moments, it's, oh yeah, this is Vitality's capability.
I really just thought you said Mexican controllers. I'm like,
What?
None of these are Mexican, but
No, that's
when you
not
said
what I
massive
said.
controllers controlling.
Yeah, meta-controlling.
You know. Oh, meta, there we go. I thought you said Mexican controllers.
I'm
like,
sorry.
okay. It's fine, it's probably just my ears, as Foy right now is about to get his taken off.
Attackers have located a bomb.
As he's a bit of a pickle. There's someone up above trying to take him down, or he's one up on the right in the library. Who's looking to push him. Aerojet's now being deployed as well. It's going to be basically making it hard for him to rotate. And thus he will drop down that hatch. Just be careful, there is not another player down here like there was last time. As he hopes to sneak himself back up the red stairs, but he's rethinking his plan right now, as Durza will be able to take down Rise, and that is going to be bringing things back into favor for Tempra now, as they have that 1-man advantage, as they're looking to get that 5-5 on the way.
That's it. Slightly different turn of a story there. Doesn't know. They're buried in the corner. You gotta win those, P4. Goga, probably the shock of a lifetime there as he swings round 1. And, well, with not much HP, he's gonna make sure that he gets his job done. Pops open the X-Kairos, pops open the wall, and brings some balance back towards the favor of Vitality. Beaver has steadily made his way, just separated by only a little bit, but Elysian pops over the top. Steadily, they've made their way back towards the site. Durza here after getting the opener. They put 2 bodies underneath, and it worked in able to get that opener, and it's worked in being able to take all this time. Chaoxis gets 1, Bibu just pushes in full aggro, swings onto 2 with Hungry getting another. Shinka drops 1 and 1 more. As Tempra, yet again, bring it even.
Bibo almost able to turn it around here. You said it before in the first half, how big of an impact player he is. He's definitely starting to make that impact now, but it is 5-5. We are going to the maximum amount of rounds, which is 12. The question is, will we see a Tempra win, a Vitality win, or will we see a draw, meaning both teams will be getting 1 point, which is not really what you want in this situation. However, Chaos, they're having this. They'll take it. Both these teams 1 point.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you've got to not only take your own results into consideration when your play day is done, you're always looking at the board, looking at how it's shaping up for other teams and looking at how sturdy other teams are becoming. Because, well, not only are they your opponents in potential future upcoming weeks and you want to try and learn about them, but you've got to judge your potential, your hopes. You've got to work out where your possibility of taking points are and how much you've got to step up and step into this game. Both these teams, they just keep having these moments and stepping up. As I said before, it seems to come down to these final crutch and push moments. Regardless of what else comes on, you're having an Ashe player charge their way through onto the site time and time and time again. And sometimes it's working and sometimes it isn't. But every single time, it is at least very close.
It is very close, and that is the story of this game. It's also the reason why it's been so back and forth. One time it goes into the favor of Tempra, the other it goes into the favor of Vitality. The question is, who will be pulling more favors today? Who will be able to get the extra rounds in? Because right now it's seeming that Desk Marta will be getting the 6-6 he predicted.
Is that... Oh, you did predict it. Oh, this can start putting some numbers in the favor of Descamada, but for now, I guess we'll... Okay, Oxus is going to watch alongside us as he gets dropped very early. That is maybe the earliest body we've had off the board in this game. Well, it definitely is in this game. Maybe all day, to be fair, as what has otherwise been quite a tempered and slow game and opener has otherwise just, well, instantly opened. And I'm wondering if this could be a big blow for the guns of Tempra. Vitality, their drone game, as I said before, has been usually pretty impeccable and unstoppable when things work. It just, unfortunately, as with anything, hasn't worked every single time.
Not yet, but it is going to be present again. The clash here has to be careful for Rise, who of course has those stuns available to him. Especially to cover that foil he wants to bring needs to be careful, because we saw how that ended up in the main stairs when that stun came through and 3 people peeked at the same time with fully automatic gunfire aimed in the same direction. Airjet being deployed will have to be taken out by his teammate, otherwise he's not going to be able to go up onto landing anymore. But it's not safe. It's not safe to go out. The second one has been deployed now as well. And with this, you shepherd Void back into statuary. You keep him there, basically force him to, well, choose different routes if he wants to go in for the flank there.
It's a very clever way of fixing a problem that was otherwise, well, a very big problem last time round. It took a lot of dancing with that clash and a lot of utility to even begin to force her into a situation where she wasn't instantly stopping them on landing, and even then they just had to kind of go, screw it, and charge through willy-nilly. But here, they've been able to force her back onto the site and almost tethered her to it a little bit. She can't push too aggro. She can try and offer some support towards P4 if need be, who's under a huge amount of pressure from Walk-In. Goes for a wide swing, but unfortunately shut down boldly, and Goga, well, goes where Goga goes. Dirta, who has been a consistent battle back here, gets one. And it looks like Shinka's trying to replicate that too. Wants to get in close aggro, maybe take one by surprise and find themselves in a very surprising situation. Duggan on the close corners, covering a cross angle. They have either side, and unfortunately they don't quite have Rise to a very bold swing, but it might buy them enough time to make things a little bit more unpleasant for the push here of Vitality. There's an important take, and there's an important pickup as the diffuser falls into the hands of Fabian, who's going to try and get the plant off. Shinka locked in Astro's side. A lot of openings, a lot of guns, a lot of shoulders, a lot of problems. And now, not a lot of seconds to try and pull off a 1 versus 4. It's a Vitality map point.
Wasn't his only big problem there. The biggest problem among them was indeed Vitality about to be going to map point. As you see, all these air jabs in position, making sure no one would be able to go back into the landing area 90 hallway. It's completely closed off, completely taken care of. And we're going into round number 12 now, where P4 yet again on the clash, but might be 6 picking it out because it's being brought from the start. We'll go 6 pick back into it because the smoke is being brought now. Nuck coming out onto Fabian as well, but often will be 6 picked as well because it's not an operator you want to be given away in your operator select screen. And there we have it. 6 pick coming out. Nomad again. Clash again as well. The tools are there for Vitality to close out and take care of this clash. The question is, will the execute be? Will the plan be? That is the most important part.
Wow. Tempra. They've had a huge fight in this game. You look at the spread and you look at the individual players and the moments they've been able to pop off, and it's just been kind of hit or miss. As I said before, it's seemingly all or nothing. Throw yourself at your opponents and one of us is going to remain the victor, and it's kind of been the lessons that we've been taught over and over by both the Tempra and Vitality camps. But when you're on match point, things become a little bit more dicier. Tempra, they're locking themselves here on AVG. This is a site where they had the clash before, and it unfortunately got shut down pretty quickly on that staircase. It's a different story now, and, well, can P4 have a little bit more solidity alongside Chaoxis, or will they try and slightly rotate and manipulate what they're doing?
We'll see very shortly from now, because the action phase has started, the last one in this game. There is 2 minutes and 42 seconds left on the clock. And as we speak, the planes are falling from the skies. The question is, will Vitality's hope on 3 points fall from the sky as well, or will Tempra themselves lose out on this matchup? As yet again, we will probably see 2 players down here on the main stairs, but we know how that ended the last time around with 3 people peeking them. They gotta make sure that that doesn't happen again.
Well, the drones are working overtime for Vitality now as they make sure that everything that they want to possibly get a hold of is clear. The air jab goes off, but this time Clash isn't as alone as she was before. Chaoxis is able to get the cover there and looks to try and get the first catch as they go wide with those flash canisters. They've been throwing them above as well. As I said before, last time we were here, it was a two-pronged, two-story attack in that they wanted to burn all the ADSs, put those staircase under huge amount of pressure, and then capitalize on what was otherwise two very isolated players with no ADSs to protect them, which worked. But, you know, if one of those kills had gone the other way, if Sophia had been the first off the board, who knows where it could have ended. Here she comes. Will it be round 2 of before, or will it be them caught out? They're actually going to pull away. They're not going to go full aggro, going to watch towards the second story, and they escape. It was a huge burst of utility to take control of that staircase. It had a result, sure, but it's kind of a C+ after the A that they managed to pull last time with the double kill.
It was about 2 stuns and 4 flashbangs that went off all at the same time there. And not a single kill gained. However, they gain control of the top of main stairs, which is also an important point here. The big issue is, however, that the Clash is still in 90. But look at this. Fabian is holding it from below, hoping that the Clash backs up just enough for him to take him out. This is a very patient man right here, just waiting. And all that Rise has to do is put a bit of pressure. Put some pressure. Force him back. Make him walk backwards. Make him enter the crosshairs of Fabian. Because otherwise you're not going to be taking out that Clash. You're not going to be taking out that shield. And as there's 1 stun left, no stuns actually, you will have to... Ooh, this is smart. Are they using the impacts here to try and create another angle for Fabian? That would be a smart move, but it seems like Fabian's already long gone.
Look at Voy rotating underneath towards the staircase as all of the Vitality players dig themselves in towards this study side. Body after body falls in, but Fabian has found one on the bedroom side. Clash is doing her best to stop them being able to get in and get the diffuser down, but has prevented them being able to get the true lock off. Shinka goes full aggro, but a little bit too late as the diffuser is planted. It is Rise and Hungry, the only one standing, but who knows who's left standing now. Hungry sure isn't, as Clash cooks them. Was it the wall? Was it the Clash? Either way, it's a GG, and it's our first draw of the evening.
The first draw to come in, as predicted by Dev Marta.
Dang it, Dev.
He's gonna be walking away with the big points here.
He's just too smart.
Because both these teams will get 1. So, it's unfortunate. Vitality looked really strong, but Tempra also had a lot of potential in the lineup. But this was a true back and forth coming in.